All right, so first off, and I hope I got it right, but I want to thank the Wexlers for hosting this evening. Yeah. And I want to thank the Langmans actually for producing a daughter who can finally turn Mark into somebody else's problem. So, all right. So, like Aaron said, Mark's dad actually called me a week ago and asked if any of his friends could share a few of Mark's secrets the night before the wedding, and I said that's easy because Mark doesn't know any secrets or have any friends. So, I'm here to tell you a few things about this guy, Mark, and hopefully buy the Langmans enough time to check if they can still get their hotel deposit back. So, what can you say about a man who is admired, revered, and loved by everyone? I can start by saying that I'm not here to talk about me. Mark is much harder to describe. Try to imagine something somewhere between Richard Simmons and an Ewok.
Damn! Hey, Seth, don't hold any punches, all right?
Listen.
That's good, because that's new.
I've known Mark for exactly 25 years, so I consider myself to be somewhat of an expert on his life. Mark and I met in summer camp when we were 13 years old. Our friend Rob, wave Rob.
Hey Rob.
Rob and I were bunkmates at camp, and one afternoon the subject of Playboy magazines came up in conversation. Another boy in the bunk came up to me and Rob and said that if we were interested, he knew where we could get some. So we followed this guy to another bunk, and there was this Wexler kid standing next to his cot with about 6 dozen porn magazines. Change in one hand, giving magazines out in the other hand.
You're forbidden from any family events ever again.
Rob and I stood there in amazement, and we knew that this was a kid that needed a hobby.
Your baby boy!
So, junior high passed. We never really hung out that much in junior high. We met up again at a weekend-long synagogue youth group convention. We were all in one bunk. It was Rob, myself, Mark, and soon-to-be friend Aaron, who you just heard from. And 20 seconds after everyone dropped their suitcases, Rob walks up to Mark and says, "Hey, I remember you." And Mark responds back, "Everybody does. I never grow." Do I lie?
This is so true.
So anyhow, that line pretty much sealed our friendship forever. And throughout high school, Mark's friendship was definitely invaluable. He would pay homeless people outside of liquor stores to buy beer. For entertainment, he'd get the family dog to hump pillows and shop. That was the secret. And for more entertainment, he'd shock himself by pulling the wires out of an old TV set in his parents' basement, going, "Watch this."
What?
Anyhow, a lot of people used to say he acted like he had a leak in the skylight, but as my friend, I'm gonna stand up for him when I say he wasn't acting. He did, however, give me my first commission job at Circuit City. I was selling televisions, and I learned from Mark that you can walk a customer right down to the big screens if you mess up all the settings on the cheap sets first. Guess you're ever going to buy a TV from him. After high school, Mark never went on to receive any formal education. He went to the University of Maryland, and
You're not making any friends at this table.
Or this table.
And it was at Maryland and through his fraternity where Mark honed his skills as the lover we all know today. He became the kind of guy that girls dream about when they're having a nightmare. Mark used to have this little blue convertible Fiat. It was actually a really nice car. Until Mark whistled at some girl and plowed it into a wall. After college, I was working in the computer business. My boss asked me to hire somebody to help work with us on a project that we were working on. Mark was on the job hunt, so I decided to return the Circuit City favor, and I got him a job working with me in town. This turned out to be the last time my boss ever asked me to do anything ever again. So now that Mark and I and Aaron were each working in Virginia, we decided it would be a good idea if we all got a place together and became roommates. What seemed to be a good idea at the time turned out to be an alcohol-induced blackout that lasted for about the next 5 years. Mark wasn't so much a roommate as it was like living with a caveman. I've never seen so much dirty laundry and empty pizza boxes piled up in one room in my life. Himalayan shrines were easier to get to than closet. We used to throw house parties on a regular basis, large ones actually. Mark would do all the advertising. Remember this? Sometimes he would create flyers. Other times he would create viral emails that would circulate the globe somehow. One night we were getting ready for a small get-together when Mark noticed that one of his email invites had been the most downloaded item on the internet ever. What started out as a cocktail party eventually devolved into a 20-kegger with a live band who incidentally showed up with all their equipment because they found the invite on the internet. So thanks to Mark and his insane ability to market even manure to a cow, we now hold the record for, and this is honest, the most noise violations in Arlington County on a single night. I'm sure there are pictures on some police handbook right now. So continuing in the spirit of full disclosure, I'll just summarize our living experience by saying that living with Mark was like living with one of the Osborne kids. I'm not saying he's immature, I'm just saying that the man can pull his own finger and break wind on command. And Lisa is definitely talking about. But, Mark's got a cultured side too. Don't let the rough exterior fool you. In case you didn't know, he thinks he's a wine expert. But I don't get it, because for 3 years, you and I took wine tasting classes together, and Mark, how easy the cap unscrews is not a gauge for how good a wine is.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So let's talk about fitness, Mark, again. He's not fat, I just say he's lost control of his body.
Big bone.
Case in point, Aaron, who got the job working at Gold's Gym, managed to score us discounted gym membership, so we were all getting ready for summer. We all joined. Aaron would go after work. I even got a personal trainer, if you recall, and Mark never went even once. So he's proof that you don't have to be fit to be lazy. In time, much like Mark's body, the group house started falling apart. Let that one sink in. Aaron eventually moved out. He was replaced by Keith, who was replaced by Jason, who was replaced by no one. Each of them moved out. They met girls, they had relationships, and they ultimately got married. And then when it was finally just a single guys, Mark and I, it hit me like a bar of soap on the back of my neck. If I was ever going to date again, I had to live someplace where the bathroom ceiling wasn't alive and the staircase was held up by 3 empty kegs and a lawnmower.
Yes! I did that.
Rob is the engineer behind the staircase.
Anyway, thank you for that.